What up, what up, what up? Happy Tuesday, happy Tuesday. Man, what is going on? It feels so good. It feels so good to be here. Another day, making it. Oh, man. It's been an interesting week. I will start that off there.
I have a cold.
Still have a cold.
No, like a new one.
Oh. Why are you next to me?
Man, shut up.
You got the corona.
Oh my God, don't even. I do not need the CDC showing up at my door and taking me away forever.
What is going on, everyone? I'm Shadell, co-host of PagingTheSimpsons. I'm joined by my lovely wife,
Lauren.
Yeah.
That was so, like, down.
We are here once again with Kerfuffles, a.k.a. Sneezy.
You know what? No, like, it's a new cold. This one came on last Wednesday. Before, I was just having an asthma cough that lingers after the flu, and now it's like a full-blown, like, harsh cold. Like, my nose and just everything it's an issue.
That sucks.
I'm like, what? Why did I get sick again a couple weeks later?
That sucks, man. Gee.
But apparently, like, everybody I know is sick, so this
So
is
they
like,
all got the corona.
Oh my God.
You think I'm playing, yo? I will put you in a bubble suit.
There are common things at this time of year other than corona.
Common symptoms of the coronavirus that you all have.
Sir, stop feeding into the hype.
I was telling my friends how, like, we go out places, and now because this is, like, a whole, like, major thing, people are just, like, looking at you, like, stay away from me. And, like,
you told them that?
Yeah.
Wow, thanks.
Obviously. I mean, they hear you coughing as I'm playing Xbox. Like, the heck? What do you think this is?
I'm sorry.
Like, and,
No, I was so mad. We were in the grocery store, and I had a cough. I cover it completely with my elbow. You know, I do what you're supposed to. And there's this guy who works there, and we're in the fruit section, and he's putting fruit on. He gave me the dirtiest look, and I walk past, and I'm like, have you ever heard of asthma? Like, I was so mad, and I go get my grapes, and then when I walk past again, he's saying something, and I couldn't even make out what he said, but I was just so... And then we passed him again later, and he still gave me a dirty look again. I hate that.
Dog, see, if someone would have did that to me, I would have been like, you got a problem?
Like, but that's
like, you're the one who's noticing it.
That's basically
so why don't you
what
call it out?
That's basically what I said.
Especially if it's an employee.
I said it like under my breath, but also not under my breath.
No, it's an employee. What is he going to do?
Well, whatever.
Like, yo, he's going to get fired.
It's annoying because, yes, right now I have a cold technically, but there's a lot of times that I have the asthma cough and people think I'm like sick and contagious. And it's really annoying because it can last a long time and it's not like I enjoy it, but I have to live. Like, I can't be holed up for 2 months because I have a cough. So, like, it's really obnoxious sometimes, people. Like, come on.
And we had like a double date plan too, and I was like worried because like we were going to go bowling and then out to like eat at a restaurant, and like normally it would be fine. But because of this whole, like, media, you know, hype, the restaurant at least would have been bad. Like, the bowling alley, it's, like, it's loud, music's playing, like, not that big of a deal. But the restaurant, people, they're going to be like, why does this girl keep coughing? Like, coughing every now and then, sure, but, like, you're just going, then, like, a minute later,
Do you want to live to finish this podcast?
Oh, man, I don't know.
Rude.
Depends. But yeah, so like that, hopefully by the time that double date comes, you're good. But
well, yeah, now it's a couple weeks away, so. But yeah, guys, the whole coronavirus stuff, stop. Like, the flu is literally statistically more deadly at this point than the coronavirus. And the flu is a typical disease, but it is still more deadly. Like, it's so just like chill out. Mm-hmm. I have a whole lot of things to say about it, but I'll digress about how this whole coronavirus popped up.
Leak it out? Go ahead. Go get into your conspiracy bag. I didn't have this in the notes, but if you want to get into it, feel free.
This was literally man-made. You can't tell me that this came out of nowhere.
Man-made.
These diseases that literally pop up out of nowhere.
Man-made
how?
Where? In China?
No, in a lab.
Like, I know that. Obviously, if it's man-made.
No, likely America.
And know what they gave the Chinese people?
It went to the most populated place on the planet, so yeah.
Why?
And then it's like they're gonna like make it seem like it's from eating bats, and now that's gonna feed into a whole like stereotype for these people, and it's just no, just this whole thing. There's a lot I could tell you, but yeah.
Go ahead. I'm not stopping you.
I'm good.
She's like, I don't want to sound crazy. I don't want you guys to not like me, so I'm gonna keep my mouth shut.
It's like, it's one of those things. If you ever just sit and think, and you're like, this stuff is programmed. Because also, why did we have mass diseases in every other 20 year in the past few centuries?
Don't ask me.
Why would that be like clockwork?
I brush these things off weird. All the time because it's like a bi-yearly thing. I was telling you, like, I know the last one was like back in like 2016 with, I think it was Zika.
I don't know. There was H1N1.
Literally,
the swine flu. There was the
Ebola. I'm not sure about other states, but like back in this past summer in Connecticut, they had like a whole bunch of things about like, you gotta stay inside. There's mosquitoes that are gonna give you virus or whatever. Like, it's just like I feel like we're playing it up too much, and like I don't know.
Well, that's the thing. It's the media hype. And then
like, the games were canceled. Schools had like not have like later programs until it was dark out. Or no,
they would cancel them
exactly before it got dark out.
Yeah, there were literally like lit up signs on the highway about it.
And it's like
oh my gosh,
they had me sitting here like I'd take the dog out, and I'm like, I hope a mosquito doesn't suck my blood.
No, and I was thinking of her too.
I care about myself first, then the dog after. Man, I'm good.
Yeah, so, but it's one of those things. It's like every couple of years, there's a new thing that pops up literally out of nowhere. And just...
Yeah.
It's kind of weird, isn't it?
It's interesting, because...
But, like, there comes a point when population control is a real thing. No one wants to admit it, but...
I mean, the funeral industry is an industry.
I mean, it's not the funeral industry feeding this, but...
I mean, I'm just saying, it is an industry. They have business for a reason. Business always dies. You can say never dies, but it always dies because it's like a play on words.
You're so funny. It's parats. It's a drum and a hi-hat. What the heck was that? Ding! That was like the triangle instead.
Oh, God. So, just like last episode, we're going to take periodic coughing breaks for some people in the podcast.
Gee, thanks so much for allowing coughing breaks for me.
I'm just letting everyone know. So if there are edits in between, like the video, if you're watching on YouTube or the podcast, we try making it as not obvious or unobvious, right, as possible. But just letting you know, I may just call it out saying, hey, do you want to take a break? And you can feel free to let everyone know, yeah, we're taking a break. And we'll be back in a split second because we are the power of editing.
Congrats.
So with that being said, before we get into our topic and talking about Kobe and being grateful for life, do you want to take a break?
No, I'm good for now.
All right. So, I want to talk. I know Kobe's been... Like, the news of Kobe has been out for a while now. It literally came out like an hour after we recorded last week's podcast.
Yeah. Or else we would have talked about it last week.
And I don't really want to beat a dead horse. Like, pretty much RIP to Kobe.
That was a terrible phrase to use.
But I don't mean that in a very, like, I don't even know,
I just wouldn't have used that phrase. But okay, continue.
You get what I mean. But, like, RIP to Kobe, his daughter, for sure. Like, the other
the 7 other people that were on there, that their lives mattered just as equally.
I think their names were, like, Bertoli, I would like to say, majority of them.
There were, I think, like, 3 or 4 of them were related, maybe another 2 of them. Like, there were different relations.
Yeah, just, like, friends and, well, not family, but just friends. Like, some of them look to be, like, the daughter's, like, friend and, like, her family were on the helicopter.
Wasn't it? I feel like the 4 or something I heard left literally 1 kid that is now an orphan.
Was it 1? I heard 2.
Really?
Like that family has 2 kids that are orphans.
Well, yeah, but I heard that and I'm like, dang. I think
it's 2. So here, I want to touch on some things that I heard within the growing news to talk about on the podcast. So I guess I was listening to this on the Brilliant Idiots podcast, and Andrew was saying how, who's he talking to? I think Bill Bill Mayer or Bill Burr, one of the Bills, and like I guess he knew the pilot, like the. You know how when you're in a helicopter, the pilot like talks to like a command station or something like that?
Yeah.
And I guess Bill Burr, Bill Murray, whoever knew the person that was talking to the pilot and like was saying like it's super foggy and like this guy he still challenged the fog and he was like he still thought he can like make it through. Especially I guess the area they're in, like it was filled with mountains and supposedly like they didn't suffer when it happened. Like it was something where it was just foggy and they just crashed and they most likely died instantly. So I mean, out of all the bad that has happened, I mean that's a good thing because you kind of worry when it's like you hear something like that and it's like.
Well, and the whole fall and yeah, everything.
Because you're sitting there like you have your daughter with you and you never want that to happen. I'm kind of getting teary-eyed talking about this.
No, there's some tweets that got me that people were like. Because as a whole, he seemed like a really good girl dad for all of them. Mm-hmm. But Gianna and him had something special.
They had a lot of pictures together of them just like connecting and like
because she was the one who was kind of going to follow in his footsteps.
Well, she was also the oldest.
No, she wasn't.
She wasn't.
No, I was wrong about that. She was the second oldest.
Okay, she was like 13, I believe.
Yeah,
too.
There's one that's older and then there's two younger. And so they had something, and you know, there's people talking about how they find solace in the fact that one, that they went together and that it wasn't like one watched the other die, and that two, they were saying how like think about how once he figured something was going wrong and like how he was probably doing what he could to comfort her in those last moments. And like it just that like, kills me. Oh my gosh,
like, of it.
That was also a bad use of a bad term to use. My bad, but yeah, like and just I know you and I have been sending clips back and forth, and they're the wildly popular ones that pretty much everyone has probably seen at this point. But like, for me, it got me in a weird way. So. I am not a sports fan at all, okay? Like, pretty much anything, except gymnastics. That's my thing. But any of these mainstream, like basketball, football, soccer, any of it, I don't really care. So I don't follow people like that. And I didn't really know the extent of his career or what, like, his impact was. Like, I knew he was big, but yeah. So it wasn't the fact that he personally died, but... it got me later that night. I was thinking just about it and the relationship there and the connection, the being a girl dad and the all that is such a huge thing. And I know you and I have talked about it, how like someday I've always said that I hope we have a girl because I want you to have that relationship because it's unlike anything else. And it's such an impactful, special relationship. Yeah. And, you know, just having our wedding, it made me really upset to think how the other three girls won't have him to walk down the aisle and things like that. And the
Even
fact,
the young one.
I was going to say, the fact that the 1-year-old will not remember her dad at all. And then there's thinking about how his wife lost both him and a daughter at once. I was like, that either one sucks, but then you add both and it's just, it's wild. You put yourself in those shoes. That's how, I think that's why this has impacted so many people that it has, because again,
of course,
it wasn't like he was my idol. And like I was devastated because of that, like other people. But it just, I think because he was such an icon and because he lost the daughter with him.
Well, even if he would have passed, it's still, because like, again, then you're talking about 4 girls losing their dad and a wife losing her husband. Like, and it's like, yeah, like being that young and being like there's a clip you sent me that I saw, and I think I showed you it also, about him like in an interview saying why he got the helicopter.
Yes,
because he wanted to spend time and get to his kids to like do those drives back home or to home, like all that stuff, and like he's sitting there hustling and still is like, here's a faster way I can like still have time with these guys.
It's very it's very humbling to see that he was such a family man. Because I know that sometimes that balance is hard, like in Hollywood and in sports and all that stuff. But yeah, and it's like even just having just gotten married, just thinking from a wife's point of view and thinking of just all that goes into it. It's like that really got me. And then I don't think the daughter is even one. I think the baby, it's still a baby. Like 7 months.
She was born
something.
in like June.
Yeah, so
of last year. So she's
then you have to think that her mother's still postpartum as well. So, and it's like you never know what they're going through with that, and how difficult that could be. And now you add this to it, and like, just a lot. Yeah. It's a lot.
Yeah, and
it just sucks too, because obviously it's better to have both your parents as role models growing up. So yeah, for the younger ones that didn't have, don't have him there, that'll impact them. So I will say though, it's really frustrating that people don't have boundaries, because she had to come out on Instagram like 2 days after or something, and she wrote a whole thing, obviously being grateful. What?
About what?
Just being like grateful for everybody's love and support, all this stuff, and just kind of talking about how it's been a hard time and all this different stuff. She said some really nice things about him and all that, but the fact that celebrities as a whole have to ask people for basic respect when someone dies is crazy to me. That here's the thing, as the public, sure, there's tons of people who loved him as well and are affected by this. There will be public memorials. There will be things that you can go to. But leave the personal family and friends, the people who are the closest, alone. Like, you don't have to be involved in everything. You don't have to take pictures of everything. It's sickening that there's no line that is drawn when this happens, and that people always have to break the silence and come out like pretty soon to just say something. I'm like, 2 days later, I'd still be in a ball. I'm not worried about an Instagram post. And I know people cope differently, but yeah, like there was one article that basically said, it quoted, and it was like, oh, she still can't finish a sentence without crying or something like that. And it was like on Tuesday or Wednesday. And I'm like,
dog, you can't like tell someone how long they should be grieving for.
Right. First of all, it just happened. Second of all, is this really something we need to know? That's exactly what I'm talking about.
It's life changing when you lose someone like that close to you. Like, yeah. And I wonder how, whenever celebrities die, especially like popular ones, like, we had Kobe, of course, and Nipsey died last year. Like these iconic people that like have done so much, whether it was like, publicly or in their family lives, like they were great role models and everything. I kind of always wonder how like our parents felt when like people that were in their, like celebrities in their time, like were like, if they felt as connected, because we feel it because we're in social media. So we're living this kind of in the same space where back then you didn't know it until like the news popped up saying, oh, flashing, this person just died. And you're like, oh, that sucks. Like, you have a lot more of a connection with someone. So I'm always kind of curious to know how it was then. I
mean, I think so. It was different, but I definitely still think there was a connection, because people, like, you have to think, like, for example, like my mom loved I Love Lucy, and that was a huge show. And it would like everything about it, and her as a whole in culture and just everything. Like, so
wait, did Lucy die? I didn't know this. I don't care. I don't watch a show. Relax.
A while ago.
Okay.
Yes.
Wait, is Ricky Ricardo still alive? that guy still alive? Wait, that's the name, right?
I
think.
don't know about that one. I feel like, didn't they all? I don't know.
Possibly.
I should probably remember this, but I don't. But like Wizard of Oz and like things like that, you have to think they were still hugely significant for their time.
Mm-hmm.
And they still like related to them, because say it's just like how songs or something or movies can get you through hard times, and like that was what you leaned on, and like you feel this connection, and even like the songs were like, oh, they know my life right now. It was still kind of the same thing.
Yeah, I see that.
So
Yeah.
yeah. But as a whole, too, I do, and I get it because they weren't celebrities, but it kind of did bother me that everybody was just focusing on the 2 out of the 9 that passed, because, their lives were just as significant.
It's not that people didn't, like, I see what people were saying, totally, but, like, no one knew who they were. Like, people would be saying RIP for, like, they'd be saying RP to the same magnitude as they're saying it for Kobe and Gianna, just as much if they knew who they were. But
right.
We didn't have a connection with those people. Not saying their lives mattered any more or any less or anything. It's just
like, I think,
we didn't know you.
I'm pretty sure one of them was Gianna's friend.
That's what I thought.
And they played basketball together.
I think there was like a little girl in there, like
yeah.
that was her age, and I think there was a picture of them too, like playing basketball that I saw. So, like they all mattered, and I'm a part that I don't see the upset part being. I know you can't do anything about it, but I really dislike that pilot.
Yeah.
Because I have a feeling Fog just doesn't pop up. Like, you have to see Fog from a distance and then go into it. It's not like it just magically I think it was
it doesn't really make
it was like
sense.
a 15-minute flight to where they were going or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's like you saw what was happening. Like,
right.
I think they were headed to a basketball game or something.
Yeah.
So
oh, that's another thing I will say. For God's sake, can we give some of these basketball players a break? Because I think there was literally a game that night or the next day. They showed, what was it, a couple nights ago, LeBron James at one of the games. He was sobbing. People, I understand life goes on and that things are still important and all that stuff. I think this is one of those things that I am now concerned for the well-being of some of these players. Well,
there was a game at the time when Kobe passed away, so of course they can't cancel that. But there's games later that day, and I believe the next few days after that, and
and
you saw videos of the players
they're not okay.
Yeah. And it's you can't focus when you lose someone like that. And I really big up Shaq, for example, where he's making sure the family's good. Because he had a close relationship with Kobe, and I'm not sure what him and LeBron's relationship was, but he seems to always have their back.
But yeah, that just really kind of annoys me, because I'm literally concerned for the well-being of some of these players, especially LeBron and people like him who were close and it was a huge deal and stuff. I mean, these people are grieving just as much. A game can wait. I'm sorry. Here's the thing. Yeah, maybe I don't get it because I'm not a sports fan. I'm not one of those people, today's the Super Bowl and we're recording a podcast instead. So I don't, I'm not one of those people that's ride or die in the snow and in the rain and just everything that the show must go on when it comes to sports. Mm-hmm. But I feel just with basic human rights, this is an exception. No matter what, I feel even if you are a ride or die basketball fan, man, wouldn't you understand because you would be grieving too? Yeah. You'd be upset.
Well, I'm pretty sure no fan had a problem with them canceling it. It's just it really falls down on the NBA being oh hey, we're still making this happen. The show still has to go on. I'm pretty sure fans weren't stressing it. But again, it's they have to, if they cancel it, they're losing out on all that money from the people that are going to the game. So, they're not going to push it off while you're looking for something?
Well...
Oh, you're texting someone?
No. Figure it out. You know what I mean? Like, I just...
Yeah.
But yeah, so if you want to see real quick, this is like, it's a long post, what Vanessa had written. There was a line I wanted to read, though.
Can I see that picture?
Yeah, it's a picture of all of them.
Oh, yeah, that's what I saw earlier.
This is the older one.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, yeah. So, oh, gosh. My bad. Oh, goodness. I should just read the whole thing, shouldn't I?
I mean, I don't know. It's pretty long. Like, yeah. It's up to you. I'm pretty sure. If you want to read the post, it's on Vanessa Bryant's Instagram. So this is why we save things to make it easier. This is why I would tell you to screenshot,
My bad. All right.
read it through, and highlight where you're going to read. Like, guys, I've been saying this. We're on episode 87 now. I've been saying this since episode 1.
Hush.
Exactly. Has she posted things since that?
Yeah, this is one. She said there's no number 24 without number 2. That's sad. That was at the tribute, because they had a tribute. That's what I was talking about with LeBron James.
Yeah.
And then that.
And I assume, like, just like Nipsey, they're going to have a public funeral service.
Well, and that's exactly what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like, that's where the fans can go. Like, I feel like there's just a line. There's a line.
Of course. Like, I get it. Like, you see a celebrity, you want to be like, oh, man, Vanessa, I'm sorry. Like, I get it. You see them in public and you feel for them. You want to show your support. But, like...
But even if not, this is where the internet is an issue. Because people will hound you on the internet. They'll be like, oh, she hasn't said anything yet. She hasn't broken her silence. That's the phrase.
See, that makes no sense, though, because
like,
Laura London didn't say anything for, like, a while.
Lauren.
Like, she was good probably, like, a week, 2, 3, something like that, before she, like, made some, like, posts about Nipsey. Like, I don't get why we're, like... I get it. Like, Kobe is most likely a bigger figure than Nipsey, but, like,
still
almost hounding her for that. Like, dog... I don't get it.
All I know is at least she has those other 3 girls, because that's what I think of is, because it's like, I feel like if, now I'm not a mom, but as a mother, like you would feel like if that was your only child and then it was your husband as well, that there would be no reason to go on. Mm-hmm. Like, at least there's, like, you have these 3 girls, you have to be around. Mm-hmm. Now you are it for them. Like, you know what I mean? And so I feel like, I mean, it's probably tough at the same time, but that probably helps. So.
Yeah. I give her all the strength possible, because, like, that's tough. Like, I feel for anyone that, like, loses a partner and then has to continue on, like, you know, with the children that they have. It's
that's
tough.
Rough too. It's rough, I feel like, because as the adult, you're probably in this weird circumstance where you never know how to grieve. Because it's like, how much do I show? How much am I the strength for them? You know what I mean? Like, how much can I cry without it being too much, because I need to be there for them too? Like, that's a lot. And then the baby has no idea what's going on. Baby's just like, hey, we out here, we gonna play some toys today. Like,
I'm not sure. I don't know what a 7-month-old baby, like, would do, but I assume it has some recollection of being like,
well, there's a connection there, yeah. So yeah.
And it's like, I don't know. It's just sad, and I kind of want to just migrate to, at the end of the day, like, I just want everyone to be, like, grateful for the life they have. And I feel like, I say this all the time to you, like, I feel like we complain over, like, the most pointless things, and at the end of the day, why does it matter?
Yeah.
And I learned this as a teenager, like, why am I getting mad about this? Why do I care about this? Like,
yeah.
If it's not something that's important to me or going to, like, help me in any way, I don't need it. Yeah. And it's just making sure, like, I'm happy. You never know. Like, we take life for granted so much. You never know. I'm so, like, worried when I go out to drive.
Yeah.
That, like, yo, I this could be the last time I drive. Like, I just saw this past weekend. I think about that
sometimes, too.
Where it's like this kid passed away early Saturday morning.
Yeah.
because he got into a car accident, and he died instantly. And I guess his girlfriend or whoever, the girl that was in the car, like she was alive and made it to the hospital.
Ugh,
and it's like
that stinks.
It's like, damn, like, again.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. That stinks when you guys are together and one of you makes it.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. Oh, the level of like guilt and stuff that you're gonna have to process and like go through.
But it's like I'm sure he was. You could have went to a Simple Drive to go get Dunkin' or to go somewhere.
Oh, literally. If you think about it, because I remember the statistic is that most car accidents happen within 25 miles of your home. Mm-hmm. Which, if you think about it, I mean, it's a good distance, but yeah. If you think about it, if I were to look both ways and I just didn't double check or something, and I go to pull out of this driveway and I didn't see the person coming, they ran me, that could be it. Mm-hmm. It could literally happen like that.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You never know when or how. And it's kind of funny. We were talking about wills and stuff last week. Mm-hmm. Like, kind of weird that then it went to this for the next podcast.
Yeah.
So, and he was 41. 41. That's young.
Like, we're living on borrowed time. Like, I look at it all the time. Like, the cars we have, the money we have, the house, like, everything. Like, that's why, like,
temporary.
For example, like, you bring up money sometime, and I'm like, I don't care. Yeah. Like, money's just something to make things happen for me. Like, I don't care at the end of the day. As long as I'm living a happy life and, like, the time that I'm using to put into my life is, like, valuable, that's all I'm caring about.
The one thing I saw, and it's so true, that's sad, is he had just retired, a couple years ago or something like that?
Yeah, a few years ago.
And someone had said he didn't get to, like, enjoy the fruits of that. Like, all the sacrifice and everything for all those years, because you have to think the sacrifice you have to make for a career like that when you are building a family and when, like, things like that. Like, because I think about my own business and stuff, and I think about all the times that I had to put that over, you and I going on a date, or you and I sleeping in, or like just different stuff. And it really stinks that he did all that and then finally gets to the point where he gets to enjoy the fruits of his labor and really be a family man, be present, and just do whatever he wanted. And then it's yeah.
You can tell, like, once basketball stopped being, like, a priority, he was like, okay, I got to find something else that's my new, like, priority. And that's, like, when you have the money, dog, your priority, is just your family. You have nothing else to worry about.
Well, right. Exactly. Like, but that's what I'm saying is you work so hard to get to this level to not be able to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I think about that too sometimes, how it's kind of scary that it's like some of these kind of things take so much sacrifice, and you just kind of hope that it's worth it. And that you're not wasting your life sacrificing because that's all you'll have.
And to dig into this, because you have me thinking about this, and I'm sorry to bring us back into it. It's sad when you think about that, because you're talking about the long term of things, and it's like the people in that helicopter had a what they're gonna do tomorrow, or what they're gonna do a year from now. As we're sitting here, like, eating waffles, being like, oh, in a year from now we're gonna go do this, and it's like we don't know, honestly. We hope.
Right.
We, have our fingers crossed and everything, but it's like, it's so sad.
Yeah. Low key, and this is kind of morbid, I thought about that when we were planning the wedding last year. I was like, I would think about it randomly, and I would be like, wow, this would be terrible if, like, one of us spontaneously died, like, before the wedding. Yeah. Before anything happened, and we didn't get to make it official, and we didn't, we're planning this whole big thing. And then like that, like it's like, that's the thing. Yeah. You plan these things, like vacations. You plan for a vacation 1 or 2 years down the road, and like the house we're talking about and all that.
Yeah. we plan for it and hope we get to it. It's just, and it's like when you finally get to it, you're like, wow, it was a ride. We're happy we got here, and then you're back to, like, planning for tomorrow. Right.
Because it's like, then after the house, we're like, okay, now we got to have enough for kids and, like, all this and yada yada. Yeah. On to the next goal. Yeah.
And it's like, I had a thought where I'm like, I wonder if we knew what our death day was, if we would handle things differently. And I feel like it would be chaos if we knew. Yeah. Because you wouldn't really want to do anything.
Right. I feel like yes and no.
Because you wouldn't want to work if you know you're going to die in a year or 2 or 3 from now.
Yeah.
Maybe. I'm not sure, but that's
right.
my thought.
Well, yeah. You'd spend your money differently.
Mm-hmm.
If you knew you were going to die next year, yeah. You'd be like, well, I'm not saving for a house. We're just going to, like, let's go to Bora Bora and get that little thing, you know? Let's
enjoy the time.
Let's blow it.
Yeah.
But then that would be difficult because what if one person is dying a year from now, but the other person is dying 40 years from now?
Yeah, and then they know what they're... Oh,
and
well,
it's...
I would assume you know, like, you know, when your death day is, so you're like, wow, now we have to think about 2 different things, and I don't know.
Oh, this is getting really deep.
Yeah.
But
well,
yeah. Anyways, I'm thankful for another day. Rest in peace to all who passed.
Yeah. And yeah. At the end of the day, just be happy. Like, I know everyone says it so much where it's like, you know, hug someone you love.
Yeah.
You know, text someone.
And I've been,
like,
I've been on that kick lately. I know that I keep coming on here and I'm, you know, half joking and half serious about being sick again and all that. But I really am trying to focus on the positive lately and with every aspect of my life. Mm-hmm. And it really does help. It's a difficult change to rewire your brain in different ways and to reframe your thinking, but it really does put things in perspective and makes your day-to-day happier. Mm-hmm. So try your best to count your blessings. And even if, you know, someone once told me, they're like, think about it. We can say we're thankful that there aren't bombs coming over our house. Mm-hmm. On a daily basis. And that really kind of put something in perspective for me because I never thought of it that way. Mm-hmm. So
just the fact that you could just sit in your house and not have to worry about someone randomly like barging in and threatening
like,
your life.
Safe.
So like it's just like
Yep.
Yeah. Well, before we move on, as always, do you want to take a break?
Yeah, I think now is a good time.
All right, we're gonna take a break. We'll be right back in a moment. All right, so I want to touch on this recent like Terry Crews stuff that's happening, and his crazy comments. Before we get into that, I want to talk about Gabrielle Union, and you know pretty much what started this all. So Gabrielle Union, do you know who she is?
Yes.
Oh, cool! Look at that. So she was on America's Got Talent. They didn't work out, and back in November, you know there was some issues, and she left. And here's one of the comments that she said as she departed. Oh man, it's gonna get really, very rated R. Don't be the happy Negro that does the bidding of the status quo because you're afraid. Don't allow them, that's what she said.
Oh, okay.
Don't allow them to call you angry when someone else, blank, ... is called passionate. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. She said at the event, true. Not naming the NBC show directly, it's terrifying. There's a solid chance you'll lose your job. I speak from experience. And she continues on saying, do your best because corporations want global dollars. Do your best to try and hold the door open and hold people responsible. Yeah, I'm asking you to do the impossible. I'm fully aware that job loss is on the table, but if you are not doing it, nobody is. So, my take on this, because she didn't really give too much, you know, of her leaving, but of course it was race related. Mm-hmm. And like, I say this all the time, where like, I still, in my, 3 years working my corporate job, like I haven't seen a black woman come in for an interview. Like, wow. Let alone, I mean, granted, I could be not there or I could be not paying attention, but I don't see it. Like, I've seen white women, white men, I really don't see any other race, really. Like, I had 2 black guys, one that I pushed for the job and another guy that, applied, but like, yeah. Yeah. So, like, I'm with Gabby with the whole, like, some companies just hire who they're familiar with and keep it like that. Mm. And even when they do hire you and throw you, like, a little bone, it's like you're expected just to shut up and, like, be happy you're here type of thing. Mm. And, like...
Be grateful because I didn't have to hire you.
Exactly.
That's terrible. Yeah, and sometimes it's based on numbers. Because I know, like, with, like, regular companies and stuff, like, they kind of, they can almost have quotas of, like...
See, I'm not sure how true that is, but, yeah.
I mean, I don't know how true it is, but I would believe it.
I feel like back in the day, yeah.
You want to appear diverse?
Yeah.
So...
And, like, for her to be like, so they call other people passionate, but they say I'm angry. And it's like, they constantly, dog.
Well, it's just like how they're portrayed in movies.
I worry for this so much that, like, if we do have a kid, and let's say they are darker and they're a girl, I worry for that so much that, like, yeah, she's going to be portrayed as, like, that angry, black girl. And it's like,
no.
Why?
I think we've talked about this, too.
Probably have talked about it.
How in movies the light skin black girls are seen as like the more friendly and approachable and all that stuff, and then the dark skin ones are the angry and crazy,
sassy,
and yeah.
To touch on that, so I don't know, we all seen Stranger Things. Remember Stranger Things last season? They had the little black girl and she was like sassy and all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought it.
I'm like, come on, guys.
No, I literally thought it.
Like, you bring another black character on the show.
Because that's always...
just for her to be a sassy.
Because here's the thing. There's a difference between wanting to portray and... and have people see that they are on screen. Because you know what I mean? Like, where... you want to see yourself in a movie and you want to see, like, people like you. There's a difference between that and feeding into a stereotype 100% of the time. Because, sure, some act that way, but that's like
everyone.
Right. For example, that's like saying, like, I'm Italian. That's like saying all Italians act a very specific type of way. And if I don't fit that mold, then I'm either not Italian or I'm not a real Italian. Mm-hmm. You know? Like... And so, yeah, it's like I saw that she was like, what, 9 or something? Like this little girl. And I felt that too.
Yeah.
That I'm like, why are we... It almost felt very extra, very forced what they were trying to make her act like. Mm-hmm. I'm like, why?
Yeah, it's not needed.
I feel like we actually talked about that.
Probably.
That rings a bell.
But, yeah, so she left because, of course, they weren't treating her right. And, more proud to her. Like... It's a tough situation to leave a job that is doing you wrong and it's paying your bills. Like it's
but let me tell you, it's worth it. It is worth it. Sometimes it is so worth it to put your pride ahead of that job. Because I have been in a situation where it was not worth it to stay. Mm-hmm.
So after that happened, and Gabrielle Union, she didn't say anything. She left it at that. Here comes Terry Crews, a month or so later or whatever.
Yep.
And this guy goes on like pretty much a press run saying, "Oh, NBC, they're great. I don't think they're racist. I work with them all the time. This and that." And it's like, dog. Oh, at least to me, I feel like there's an unwritten rule when it comes to someone that's black, knowing, how we're already treated by other people that aren't black. That it's like, I'm gonna support you and ride for you, and at the very least, not say anything that is going to hinder you in any way.
Right.
And here comes Terry saying that, like, oh, no, what she's saying, like, I can't speak for her experience, but, NBC has been great to me. Like, they're not racist. They're great people, this and that.
I feel like NBC came to him and basically made him do this. Because why in his right mind would he come out of nowhere and just start doing this? Mm-hmm. It didn't make sense. First of all, the lag of time, okay? Like, and
they had to find another black person. Like,
second of all,
Terry.
His experience will be completely different because, first of all, he has been on that show so much longer. Like, he's been there for like years and years, and clearly, yeah, he has a much better perspective. What's annoying is,
I mean, he's a black man also, so his what he's been through and like his race issues. Well, you were gonna touch on that?
I don't know. I was just trying to finish my sentence, sir.
Let me kill that real quick before you jump in. Well, his
as I was going to talk about a man cut me off.
His experiences have been completely different of a black woman's, and I know, that is true. Yeah.
That's where I was going with this.
Like, I don't know.
It is annoying when any race, okay, a man speaks for a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, that is a thing we don't like.
Yeah.
It feels minimizing and degrading sometimes. Like, it just... Like, we can hold our own. We can speak for ourselves. And believe it or not, we do know what we're talking about. We are telling the truth about our situation.
Yeah.
And so then, yeah, I feel like he thought he was onto something because he is also black, but he is a black man. And he's talking about a black woman's experience, which we know can be worlds different. And again, minimizing and being like, oh, no, like that must not have happened to her. Excuse me? Like, this is the problem in these industries. Women are not taken seriously. Because again, we're seen as over emotional or dramatic or nonsensical. And so a man just kind of reaffirming that makes it harder.
Yeah.
But it's like you have no right to talk about a woman.
And as you're having a coughing fit here, to jump in, and this is after, like, you know, the women were backing Terry as he was going through his sexual lawsuit against like a producer or a director that like touched him.
Yep.
And, like, women were being like, yeah, like, here goes a guy that like goes through the same thing we go through, and we're sitting here backing this guy. And a year or two later, he goes and, like, you know, essentially bites the hand that feeds him. It's like, what's going on?
See, that's the thing. Women are amazing. We will believe you and we will defend you. But for some reason, the other way around is just so much more complicated. Why?
I mean, don't look at me. The heck? Why? Like, what? I don't know, son.
I gave him like this look. I was like, why? No, but like, and yeah, like I said, I feel like it really, black women have a lot against them. Okay. And I feel like this just made it so much harder. This, like, woo for you not having racial issues. So, but why can't she have a racial and gender issue? You don't know.
Yeah.
That could be the reason she had the racial issues and you didn't. Is because she's seen as a woman, because she's seen as weaker and less. That could be very well the reason. It doesn't make it any less real.
So, of course, like you and everyone else, they didn't like Terry's comments and him backing NBC with all that like hate stuff, obviously. And Terry comes back and says the stupidest thing. I'm gonna read this here. There was only one woman on this one earth I have to please. This is what he tweeted this past Monday, saying her name is Rebecca. Not my mother, not my sister, not my daughters or coworkers. I will let their husbands, boyfriends, partners take care of them. Rebecca gives me wings.
I mean, the way he said it, I guess I get it. But at the same time, when you and I were talking about it briefly, he's making it seem like his daughters are important.
Pretty much. Because, like, I don't get why you would even add your daughters in here. There's only one woman on.
Because, like, I get it. You're an adult. Technically, yeah, you don't need to please your mom. You could do whatever you want, and she could not like it, but that's fine. You're an adult. Like, I get that one. And, you know, things like that. And I get that your partner, I do believe, once you have kids, that, you know, you and your partner are still the most important because you run the household. So if you guys are not good, then the rest of the household usually isn't either. And, like, it's yeah, I understand that part. But, I mean, the way he worded it is what's tricky. Is I get not pleasing your daughters as in, like, just doing whatever they want or whatever, but, like,
I mean, that doesn't make any sense. So I'm gonna add more to this. So people will pretty much. Oh goddamn.
But, like, you're talking like, oh, they'll have partners or whatever. For the first quarter century of their life, they might not have a partner to do that. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna say then? They're kids.
I'm trying to like load this up, but this.
Then why have kids?
USA Today is trash. So
Oh, he's trying to load it up. Look at him not taking screenshots.
I mean, I want to take a screenshot of a webpage. What? So here goes some comments that people responded. So like, there was a few writers. I don't know how to pronounce her name. It's IJEOMAOLLUO responded, saying, "Yo, man, you don't honor your wife by using her as a shield to avoid responsibility for throwing other black women under the bus." Then another person said, "Man, this is a terrible thing to think, let alone say. You may not believe you have to please them, but they deserve the same humane treatment you requested and required when it was your turn to be the person in need of support. Damn, man.
Yeah.
It really isn't that hard."
Yeah.
And like another writer said, like, "Terry, this is not the way." And I hope just, everyone just being like, "Terry, what are you doing?" Because at the end of the day, what are you doing? Like, this wasn't thought out. And just recently, I believe this weekend, he came out and, apologized and all that stuff. But I'm like, you already dug yourself in a hole.
Just go sit down. I don't know why.
You didn't have to say anything.
Right. I don't know why you came out of the woodwork in general. All of this was unnecessary.
It's so stupid. Yeah. It's so stupid. And it's like, I hate to be that guy because I have a white wife and Terry has a white wife. But I'm like, you kind of look bad throwing a black woman under the bus when you have a white wife, my G.
Yep.
Like,
yep.
Rebecca gives me wings. I'm not sitting here being like, Lauren gives me wings to throw other women under the bus.
And that's the difference. You could say that in a loving way, but don't say it right after you just threw a black woman under the bus. You know what I mean? Like, if it was a separate occasion, sure, that's romantic, whatever. But like, bad timing. And this is, once again, we've talked about this before. Another person who makes us look bad. Like being together.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's very annoying when these celebrities in interracial relationships do stupid things because then people blame it on that. And then when they see normal people in interracial relationships, it must be the same.
It's get out. Get out. Take a picture, flash them so you can get out of that situation.
But it's really annoying. It's, because then it's like if someone assumed that you would do the same thing.
Yep. They
and that's why you're with me.
Exactly. Oh. They automatically assume that you've been, like, I guess, in a lack of a better term, whitewashed.
You know what it is? I think sometimes people think if, like, for this example, you're with a white woman, that must mean you're anti-black.
Yep. And I say it all the time.
Which doesn't make sense because you are black.
Pro-black, pro-soil.
Like, that doesn't make sense.
Because it doesn't excuse my experience. Whether I'm with you or not with you, I'm still, getting treated as the color that they see on my skin.
Right.
I don't accept Terry's apology. I'm not even going to bother
He just needs to quiet down. Just go somewhere, sir. All this was unnecessary.
I would like to assume Terry has a publicist. Oh, you would like to assume that. He has enough money. He works, all that stuff.
Yes, but the funny thing is these celebrities, sometimes they go right past the publicist and they do something stupid. And then the rest of the team, like, hates them because they're like, how are we going to clean this up? That's the thing is, yes, a lot of these, they have PR. But sometimes celebrities, they just get on their own phone right in the wrong moment.
This is hurting him. So, like, his, Brooklyn Nine-Nine is coming back for a new season or something. I don't know because I don't follow the show. But, like, that's going to hurt you with people being like, okay, I'm not really messing with Terry for a while. We're done. Like,
yeah. Should we remember the whole thing that happened with Empire?
Pretty much.
Hello. It's the same thing. He was kicked off.
Uh-huh.
Gone.
I mean,
done.
Terry's the main character in that show, but...
So is he. Sort of. One of the main.
They had a lot of main characters, so they could live with killing someone off.
Anyways.
But it hurts you. And I just think Terry should have just sat down and shut up. Even if, like, let's say NBC was like, yo, if you don't do this, we're threatening your career, this and that. Like, don't fall in for this. Like, yeah.
See, that is where you stand up for someone when they don't even know you're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I think what really matters with relationships between people and communities and all that is when people can defend each other and the other person doesn't even know you had to.
Mm-hmm.
That speaks volumes. You know, it's the whole, what's the saying? Like, basically, like, you know, whatever, if you're able to do something without people knowing, like, that says more about your character.
Mm-hmm.
And even if that was the case, that is where you stand up and you say, well, I believe her.
Yeah.
And I don't agree with it. And I'm not going to go and publicly shame her.
Yeah.
Like, I am not in the place to disagree with her because I wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the situation. That's it. Like, just as a decent human being.
I'm with you.
If you actually cared about the person, so I don't think you care.
Yeah.
Like, you cared about yourself, your ego, your career, your whatever it is. Clearly, more.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're just moving right along, but before we head on to talking about little old Tay-Tay, do you want to take a little cough break? Oh, man, guys, these cough breaks are a thing. We'll be right back in a hot moment. All right, guys, we are back. You want to hit on Taylor Swift there?
Yeah. We're going to talk about the Miss Americana documentary that came out this last Friday.
Disgusting.
What?
Nothing, go ahead.
Sorry, my ears are a little clogged, so...
I'm sure they are. Go ahead, coronavirus.
Oh, my gosh. Anyways, so it was an 1.5-hour documentary basically going through her career, and it was a very interesting perspective. I kind of want to go back to the beginning and write down the whole first, like, monologue, because that really spoke to me. The stuff that she has gone through kind of mirrors some of the stuff that I'm going through in my life to better myself and to change and to grow. And so it's very interesting to see that, you know, she's this big celebrity in person, whatever, but that, you know, at the end of the day, we're all human. And there are a lot of quotable moments.
I'm sure they are. It's Taylor Swift. This one really spoke to me, guys. Go ahead.
I'm so done with you.
I'm just reading your inner thoughts.
I'm so done with you.
Okay.
So it's very interesting because it shows you basically, and I know you have words about this, but I don't even want to hear them.
I don't want to hear that. You sicken me.
How the whole Kanye moment was kind of a turning point for her life, because she basically talks about being this people pleaser, being this person that always has to say yes and always just has to be the good girl and happy, and like, if I'm doing this and I'm getting the applause here and I'm getting, like, then I am good. And it's a very, in the way she was explaining it, I'm like, yes, like, I understand completely how it's like, as long as I am doing this for people, I'm good. And that, like, so what happened, she was explaining during the speech, after he got off the stage, when everybody was booing, she, in that moment, like, she didn't know what was going on, because she basically, the way she said it, she's like, oh, so I'm doing my speech, and she's like, oh my God, there's Kanye West. And like, because she's a Kanye West fan, right? And so at first, in her mind, she's like, oh, okay, cool. And then once, like, he was saying the thing, she's all confused. And then he gets off the stage and they're booing. And she thought they were booing her for getting the award.
Nah.
Because in that moment, you're all jumbled, right?
Course.
And she said in that moment, like, that was kind of the thing that it felt was wrong against, like, everything she's tried to do is like, what did I do wrong? Like, it was kind of that shift. And so you go through these years, and it's very interesting because then shortly after, she changed from country to pop.
Mm-hmm.
And what's funny is that, I mean, it ended up being an amazing thing for her because of the accolades she got for doing so. But
Oh boy, hold on.
There were just different moments where she went to a very dark place. There was one time, it was like several years later, she went dark on social media and nobody physically saw her for a year. And she like, this is when like the Reputation era was happening.
Don't look at me like I know. Like, okay.
That's the album that kind of shocked everybody. It's the one that like, look what you made me do.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about.
I know that song, yeah.
So it was the album that shocked everyone because it was so different. It was so dark for her. And I'm describing this terribly. Watch the documentary, I swear. But and then to see how she was able to shift that going into the Lover era, which is the one we're in now.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting, and very interesting how she's been with the guy she's with for like I think 3 years or 4 years now. Which first of all for her is huge.
Oh, it is.
Second of all, I think the key difference is he's more of an average person, and they kept their love private.
Mm-hmm.
So, which was a huge thing, which I can understand with any celebrity, to be honest. But I don't know. So it's been very interesting to see the shift. And so also with politics and stuff, she, again, being the good girl and also being in country, you are never supposed to talk about politics ever. And they went into how the Dixie Chicks did it back in the day and how that was major backlash.
Mm-hmm.
And she gets to this point where she feels like she can't keep quiet anymore. Because in her home state, there is someone running who is just against everything, who wants to take away the act that basically protects women against domestic violence and stalkers. She is against any kind of gay marriage and anything like that, and any rights. Is against pretty much everything that is like a fundamental human right. And so she finally talks about it. And one of the things I want to talk on is it's very annoying because I'm on Twitter the next day how Taylor Swift really is the epitome of no matter what she does, no one will ever be pleased. Because
that's life of a celebrity.
No, but you can't tell me that she isn't kind of one of those bigger ones that is like a sore thumb for no matter what I do, it will never be good enough.
Nobody knows Taylor.
What are you talking about?
The pop culture community does not know Taylor Swift.
What are you talking about?
Outside of you white girls that follow Taylor Swift, the pop culture community that is the rap world does not know Taylor Swift.
Okay, and?
That's what is happening, at least in my opinion.
All I'm going with this is because there's people talking about how now it is a big issue that she got into politics and she should have shut up. Uh-oh.
Okay.
And then people are coming back at that person who tweeted and being like, this is exactly the problem. You guys are mad that she stayed quiet through Trump and she stayed quiet too long. But when she finally talks, that's also a problem. If she did not say anything ever, that's also a problem. Like, this is the thing with her. And I get it. I get why she kind of spiraled and had a lot of issues. Because literally, she's this person like me. She wants people to enjoy her and to like her. And she used to seek more approval and things like that. And it's like, no matter how she did it, it was never good enough. Mm-hmm. That messes with a person. And yeah, so that's like one thing that's annoying. So, one thing she said, like, for example, is she said, if you're thin enough, you don't have that ass everybody wants, but if you have enough weight on you to have an ass that your stomach isn't flat enough and it's all just fucking impossible. If that is not a quote that every woman in the world could relate to, then I don't know what.
Okay.
Like, for example, so there's that, which is really annoying because she did go through, she didn't want to like call it an eating disorder, but like basically she would go through, like, if she saw a photo of herself and maybe her stomach looked a little like out or whatever, she just wouldn't eat for days. There was a time she was 00 and now she's a size 6 and she's a lot healthier. But there was a time when, like, I mean, it was like dangerous. And I hate society for that. Another one. She said, I want to love glitter and also stand up for double standards that exist in our society. I want to wear pink and tell you how I feel about politics. I don't think those things have to cancel each other out.
Okay.
Because that's the thing, too, is we all want to talk about freedom of speech and being a well-rounded person. But again, she's kind of this person that is expected to be literally just this one way forever. And if you change at all in any little way, that's a problem.
Yeah.
You're so not on this conversation.
I mean, at the end of the day, I don't care because I feel like people that care about other people's opinions like that, it's like you just need to learn that's what happens when you're a celebrity. People have opinions of you, and you just gotta block them all out. She's one of these people that, like, she's trying to be a people pleaser, and it's like, dog, stop it. Just live your life.
Well, tried. So, see, she's different now, which I get. It takes unraveling and redoing. Again, like I talk about the reprogramming and trying to shift my mindset and stuff. I get it.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, she was a teenager when she was thrust into this industry.
A lot of people are.
So, right. But so you have to think, and it affects people differently, but yeah, people kind of go through some shit and then they have to like rewind and like they have to reprogram because it usually doesn't go right the first time.
Yeah.
Because you're so young. And like, yeah, you're being told what to do all the time.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay, if that's what makes me successful and that's what makes me likable, and yeah, sure, that makes sense. Clearly, you have the best interest in my heart. That's what you think when you're young.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, there was just a lot. I highly recommend you see it. If you are a Taylor fan, you'll love it. If you are not a fan,
don't waste your time.
He didn't watch it, so shut up. You have no right to say.
I'm not just like I didn't watch the Beyonce thing.
If you are not a Taylor fan, you may find a new appreciation for her. You may just have a little more respect. That's all I'm saying.
I don't disrespect.
You may be able to see her in a different light as a just normal human being.
Okay.
Who is trying her best and has come a long way.
I'm sure.
And I am proud.
Congrats, Tay-Tay. Just shake it off. Is that it?
You think you're funny, don't you?
I think I'm hella funny. Do you think I'm hella funny?
No.
Wow.
Wow.
That's why Taylor Swift doesn't like you.
She don't know me.
Oh, you don't know your Taylor Swift?
Yeah, whatever. I just want to put it out there that it was a good thing to watch.
That's great. Tell Taylor Swift to send some advertisement money over to you. No. Anything else?
Nope.
You want to take a hot moment break before we get into the relationship topic?
Let's get it over with.
Shoot, guys, no break.
This is a long episode.
Well, you guys are welcome. So I want to hit this one up here. Now, this is to preface it. It's teenagers that are discussing this, so it sounds childish, but it's not really a childish thing because I know it's something we talked about, and we weren't teenagers at the time. So I wanted to.
You're gonna throw me under the bus, aren't you?
No. So this one starts by saying, I should be grateful he would even spend money on a birthday card. Or I should, yeah, right, I said that right. Cool. So this girl goes on, she is 15, her boyfriend's 15 also. Teenagers. But the problem they're going through is something that I don't think just teenagers alone go through. She goes on to say, my boyfriend says he shouldn't have to get me a birthday card because I should be grateful he would even spend money to buy a card.
Wait, what? But that doesn't make sense to me.
Okay, so here's what she has to say. Okay, so his birthday is coming up and he's turning 16 in 3 days. I already got him.
Young love.
I already got him a poster of a character from his favorite show, but all ingredients to make him a small cheesecake.
Aww.
His favorite cheesecake. She puts in parentheses a crab rangoon.
Oh my god!
Something that he said that he had when he was little and really likes it, but hasn't had it since. This is why
women are great gift givers.
Earlier today, we were texting, and I was asking him what time he wants to hang out on his birthday so I can give him his gifts. He already said he wants to hang out a few days before. He said it's funny because all his friends are probably going to get him cards, and then there's me who wants to give him a present. So I said back that I care about him, and I just want to show that I appreciate him. And then he went on a long rant about how his father never gave him presents on his birthday, so he doesn't see why I am okay.
Well, you're welcome. Okay. Damn.
I tried explaining that I like to give presents to show people that I listen to them and want to show how appreciative I am and how much I care.
Yeah. I like the food thing. The food thing's cute. Like whenever you make food for your significant other.
Yeah.
That's always a nice one.
And she goes on to say, what he said next kind of hurt me. He said that for my birthday, he'd never waste money or effort in getting me any presents and was planning on just getting me a card and putting some money in. I started feeling confused if I should say what I was feeling. I didn't want to sound selfish or like I didn't care. I told him I didn't want money or a card because it doesn't show any meaning. I mean, I know some people save cards and stuff, but like I never do. Personally, I see no point since all it says is happy birthday and some printed out words about how special I am. Then a signature. Like, I would much rather be given a piece of paper with words from from him than a company. And I explained this to him.
So they're like us, but opposite.
Yeah, a little bit. I wouldn't do exactly what he would do, but yeah. She goes on to saying some more things.
It's a long ass one.
But I'm not really going to get into that part. I just want to talk about the initial gist of it.
Okay, background here, since he wants to say it relates to us.
Oh, well, do you want me to get into it? Because I'm not sure where you're going with it.
Okay.
Well, I say this because to touch on the card thing, in the beginning, yeah, I wasn't, like, I come from a family, like, we didn't really do cards. We gave birthday cakes as your birthday, like, as your, like, thing. And, like, as we were little, we may have gotten a gift. But, like, as we got older, we didn't really get gifts. And then here I go in, a relationship with you where you want a card. And at first, I was a bit like, whatever. But then, of course, it's the person you care about. So, yeah, you're going to, like, adapt and, like, do that. And, of course, sometimes I forget. I'm not perfect, but I try my best to, like...
Like our first Christmas together as husband and wife.
Yeah. But
no big deal,
stop it. We had a wedding. We were planning a wedding. I was busy.
Oh, and look who got him one that said husband.
Dog, my Valentine's gift I got you for next weekend or whenever that is, it is bomb.
Listen to how he says
my Valentine gift is going to be amazing.
Rewind it. See how he says Valentine's.
Shut up. Everyone says Valentine's, I feel like.
No, they do not.
Okay, shut up. Go ahead. Continue. That's what I had to say.
So, that's where I was going to go with this. It's very interesting how... Yeah, you're very much, you literally just want money. You don't even want a card. You don't want gifts. It's interesting how our relationship gift giving has evolved.
Mm-hmm. How has it evolved, Karen?
In the beginning, we'd, give each other stuff and cards and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I always pride myself on being able to give people, like my significant other, a good gift because I listen. And a lot of times I'll keep a list on my phone of, like, if you said something, like, 8 months ago that you, like, really, really wanted and you never got it, I would be, like, so excited to get it for you kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Because then it's like, wow, like that thing. Mm-hmm. And, like, I know, like, I did creative stuff, like, when we first got together and I made the little, like, DIY edible arrangements.
Yeah.
And, like, stuff like that. Like, because that to me, like, when you put in effort like that, it's special. Yeah. So, and I did like a scrapbook and stuff for you, and yeah. So, so we've had some good gifts, but over the years, just more and more you've been like, you really just don't want gifts. Like we have, so we have a gift fund in our budget, and we have different amounts like per holiday that we allot for each other. And you literally just want the money. Like you don't want a card, you don't want anything else, just and it even got to the point now, I used to at least take the money out of the bank to give it to you.
Yeah, I'm like,
but now you just deposit it anyway. So literally I'll get a card or something and I'll be like happy whatever it is, the money's in the bank.
Yeah.
So for me, that was difficult because I come from a place of wanting to give something physically, wanting to show appreciation with something that's special. But that's not your thing. Like, this is, again, where love languages come in. So, yeah, just gifts is not your main love language. It doesn't matter as much to you. And if you could have the money to do whatever you want with, put to better use, whatever, then cool. So I came to the place where I was able to accept that. Honestly, it's easier. So I don't complain. But yeah. And then for me, I'm very much the person. I like a gift. Sorry. But I like it to be like a thought out gift. Like, I don't want you to just go like the store and be like, cool, this picture frame looks cool, whatever. And like, you know what I mean? Like, I want it to be like something that matters. Because I want it to be something I'll actually like want to keep or use or something like that. Like for one time, this was more you were doing what I used to do for you. A few Valentine's days ago. We were in a Macy's, a little bit prior to it, and I saw this purse I really liked, and I didn't get it because it was a little expensive, and yeah, just whatever. And then you surprised me with it, and that was so cool, like, because I felt listened to, you know, and you got something that you 100% knew I would want and appreciate, and like, so that was cool.
Almost there.
I got this, guys. But then, like, one Christmas, you got me with the blanket we have on the couch that has all different pictures of us, like, together throughout our relationship up until that point. And I love stuff like that because that's so, like, personal and romantic and cute and stuff. So, he claims he has something amazing for Valentine's Day. There's 2 box things in our closet, and I'm very curious what it is. But, so I'm saying all this to say it may take some time to like talk about it and figure it out, but do what the other person will appreciate. Do what they actually care about. It doesn't it feels wrong. It almost feels wrong to do something against what you're used to and what you think you should do, but you have to remember it's for them. So that's my advice there, is like prioritize for them. It doesn't have to be super expensive and something, you know, it's not crazy. It's just, how do they like gifts? How do they do holidays? Like, how, like, what is that culture, and how can we do that for each other in a way that the other will love? Because that ultimately just makes your relationship better. So, that's kind of my advice. The way he said it was, was not nice.
This, I feel like, in this case, it's gonna suck, but I feel like you have 2 options when it comes to like when you're this young. One is probably the easiest. You should probably break up and hopefully get back together at a later point because you're too young to understand this and what's happening and all that stuff. Or 2, rock it out and see where it goes. Because here's the thing, like, this is the part where I hope that if we have like a son or daughter in whatever situation like they would be in this, like they would talk to us and like want to know our thoughts. Because like if I had the son and I'm like, dog, like, I'll help you, I'll bring you to the store so we can get a card for her, like, and and you know, what does she like, like, and it's at this point, like, you know, we're going on 6 years in, 12 months from now or 11 months from now. And it's like, yeah, I know what you like, so I know, like, I already know what I'm gonna have for like your December gift in my mind because I just thought of it right now. And like,
what
birthdays are tricky because I like to have birthdays be a bit more different.
Okay.
But like, yeah, it's just having things in mind.
Oh, like for example, something with a girl. A lot of times, a lot of girls like flowers, but I know some who don't. Mm-hmm. They don't like flowers. They don't like that they're wasteful. They don't like just anything about them. So for the love of God, don't do that. Just because the media says you have to, if your girl doesn't like flowers, don't do it. Like that's all it is. Because, the typical Valentine's Day is like flowers and chocolates. But then I love when I see like online people who are like, get me tacos instead of chocolates for Valentine's Day. You know what I mean? Like,
right, let's go spend that money out on a dinner like that. You're gonna, spend $20 on flowers or something.
Right. So that's all it really is. And I know it's tricky when you first get together because I know like you and we had a Christmas like very soon after getting together.
Yeah, but
yeah.
We didn't stay together or anything. We just kind of like rocked separately.
No, but we still did gifts.
Yeah.
You got me a Taylor Swift CD.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Actually, which is kind of funny.
Or something, I think.
So, like, back then, because we had just started dating, yeah, it's a little more generic. But he still knew that I liked Taylor Swift and didn't have the CD yet. So, like, it was kind of like, an easy, I heard what you said kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, in a relationship, and this is so true, you just want to be heard. And you just want to be understood for who you are. And so it's like, that's all it is. It's just another way to grasp that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, like, I really don't have much else to add to that. It's just being on point. It's like, even though you don't like cards, and like I don't care for like the flowers things and stuff, but I'm like, sure. And like we've gone back and forth, and like we've talked about it, probably fought about it, just different things, and it's just like trying to compromise and figure out what works for both of us, making sure the other person gets what they want and you get what you need.
Yep.
So it's like, of course, we're not perfect, but like we're doing things. Like, yeah, I slacked last for Christmas, but like, dog, we were in the middle of like planning a wedding. Like, I was all over the place with like what to do. Like, But I'm like, okay, at least I have a nice 2-month break up until Valentine's Day, and I'm like, I got you. And sure enough, when you see it, you'll be like, oh my god,
I'm gonna transform into a baby.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna be on the ground with a diaper and a pacifier.
Yeah, and I'll just kick you out because I'm not married to a baby, so I'm not taking care of that responsibility yet.
No, it's very interesting though, because for me, it took time to get over the whole thing that you just wanted money, because I think in my mind, it was almost an ego thing for me. It felt good for me to give you this elaborate thing or something that, again, like I put thought into. In those moments, it was like I was prioritizing myself over you, though. And that's where it doesn't make sense. So it felt not natural to go the other way, because I felt like I was doing good. Yeah. But it's not about me. Like, if it's your birthday or if it's Valentine, whatever it is. Yeah. That's not about me.
Yeah. I'm with you.
It's
just focusing on what you think that person would want. And yeah, if they say they just want cash, just give them cash. But if this girl's sitting here being like, I don't even want a card that you can pick up at a store. Write down a letter and like tell me how you feel about me or something. Like, I would much rather prefer that. Like, that is easy. That's no money spent. That's just your 5, 10, 15 minutes of like putting together.
That's what we did for our wedding letters.
Everything. Yeah.
We just did them to each other on paper. We didn't buy them. Yeah. So that was cool. I will say my wedding gift to you, that is one that, at the same time of knowing that you would appreciate it and love it, that did personally fulfill me too. Yeah, I felt like that was.
I like that one a lot.
Yeah, I literally thought of that like I think a month after we got engaged or something, and I was just like, yes, like this is it.
I forgot what I got you. Oh yeah, It was something just to hang up. Like, I couldn't really think of anything that was like within the price range, so it was a bit trickier.
Yeah.
But like,
It's cute.
yeah, it's not bad. I think it would look. It probably doesn't look good in this house. To tell you guys what we're talking about, it's like it's like something that's like carved out of wood, and it has like our wedding date and like our names and like I'm not sure. There's probably something other stuff on it.
It's like a circle.
Yeah. And like it probably wouldn't look good somewhere in here, but I feel like in like our next place, since we'll probably have more walls to put things on,
Yeah.
It will look better there.
Yeah.
But that's all I gotta add for that one. This has been a really long episode.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Anything else?
Nope.
All right, guys. With that being said, please go out, show everyone that you love, care, support. We take everyone for granted a lot, and I think we should try to not do it as much. So if possible, you see someone, pay for someone's meal. If you're going to go to Dunkin' before work, be like, hey, can I, pay that person's tab behind me? And they're not going to say no. Pay it forward. Just help someone else out. It's always appreciated.
Honestly, just be a kind human being.
Smile. Say thank you. Hold the door open.
I think that is something that we struggle with sometimes. And I know that a lot of people have issues going on in their life, and that sometimes that's how it comes out. Mm-hmm. But just, you never know what the next person is going through. We just talked about this recently. I found out, a friend of mine found out that she's infertile, and she has been with her husband for like 16 years at this point or something. Like, they were high school sweethearts. They got married a few years ago, and all she ever wanted was to be a mother. And they are the epitome of, like, you look at them and you think they got it all together. Like, they're adorable. They've been together forever. Their relationship must be amazing, and they work out a lot. Like, they do like lifting and stuff. And so they look seemingly healthy and all that. And then you find out this, and it's one of those, people are going through things that they aren't going to publicize. And so at the end of the day, it's so important. Just, you never know what a joke, a smile, a hug, all that stuff can do for someone. Yeah. Like, I've had those moments where someone was just nice to me, and that helped me get through the day.
Yeah.
That made it better. That's it.
Yeah. I'm not even going to close out with the regular, stuff. You guys already know what to do. Everything in the description. We appreciate it that you made it this far in the episode, and thank you for putting up with Cuffaluffagus and Sneezy. Was it? I don't know. Putting up with the coughs in this episode. With that being said, I'm Shadell, co-host of Paging the Simpsons. I'm joined by my lovely wife,
Lauren.
And we will see you next week. Hopefully not coughing, fingers crossed. Right?
Uh-huh.
Exactly. Tell lovely people. We'll see them later.
Bye.
Peace out.